Find out what's happening this week in the world of books this and every Monday. Stay tuned. Welcome to Biblio Happy Hour's Biblio News segment, where we will be sharing new releases for this week, other titles to look out for in future, bookstore events, and what's trending. Before I get started, I just wanted you to know that you can listen to our off-the-cuff discussions, get our monthly top-shelf new release recommendations, behind-the-scenes content, perks, and more over on our Patreon page. Patreon is a super easy way to support the show, plus it helps us to grow and embark on new and amazing projects for both the book and bookstore community. So check out the details over at patreon.com/bibliofinder. And without further ado, here's what's new for the week of Monday, November 11th. New from Vintage Books is a new edition of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This vintage classic edition of Louisa May Alcott's beloved story of the March Sisters is just in time for a major motion picture, releasing in December 2019. New from Penguin Books, A Noel Killing by M.L. Longworth. Christmas time in the south of France is as beautiful as ever, but when a shady local businessman drops dead in the middle of festivities, Verlac and Bonnet must solve the case while keeping the holiday spirit alive. New from Doubleday Books, The Innocents by Michael Crummy. This is a spellbinding story of survival in which a brother and sister confront the limits of human endurance and their own capacity for loyalty and forgiveness. New from Knopf Books, Think, Write, Speak by Vladimir Nabokov, Brian Boyd, Anastasia Tolstoy. This is a compilation of previously uncollected Russian and English prose. New from Nan A. Talese, Parisian Lives by Deirdre Baer. Baer explores her 15 remarkable years in Paris with Samuel Beckett and Simone de Beauvoir, painting intimate new portraits of two literary giants and revealing secrets of the biographical art. New from Other Press, What It Is, Race, Family, and One Thinking Black Man's Blues by Clifford Thompson. This is an African-American writer's concise, heartfelt take on the state of his nation, exploring the war between the values he has always held and the reality with which he is confronted in the 21st century America. New from Beacon Press, White Negroes, When Cornrows Were in Vogue and Other Thoughts on Cultural Appropriation by Lauren Michelle Jackson. Jackson exposes the new generation of whiteness thriving at the expense and borrowed ingenuity of Black people and explores how this intensifies racial inequality. Also from Beacon Press, The Queering of Corporate America by Carlos A. Ball. New from Crooked Lane Books, River Run by J.S. James. This debut mystery features a newly minted deputy who's thrust into the cutthroat world of hunting. New from Harper Books, The Andromeda Evolution by Michael Crichton and Daniel H. Wilson. 50 years after the Andromeda strain made Michael Crichton a household name and spawned a brand new genre, the techno-thriller, the threat returns in a gripping sequel that is terrifyingly realistic and resonant. New from Custom House, Seduction, Sex, Lies, and Stardom in Howard Hughes' Hollywood by Karina Longworth. Longworth explores Hollywood's glamorous golden age via the cinematic life of Howard Hughes and the women who encountered him, sometimes at the expense of their minds and their souls. New from Eco Books, Undrinking by Charles Bukowski. New from Delphinum, In the Shadow of the Bridge by Joseph Caldwell. New from William Morrow, My Penguin Year, Life Among the Emperors by Lindsay McCrae. New this week from Poison Pen Press is The Wrong Girl, and we have the author Donis Casey here with us to share all the details. Donis, welcome to Biblio Happy Hour.
Well, thank you for having me, Victoria.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. So, The Wrong Girl is the start of a brand new series for you, and it will be available on bookshelves this week. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm a little anxious and a little excited. This is a new series for me after I wrote an earlier series that this is a little bit of a spin-off of. That was 10 books, and this one is quite different. This new one is kind of a different style, so it was really fun to write, and I'll be a little bit anxious to see if it goes over as well as the earlier series.
So, tell us about your novel. Tell us about The Wrong Girl.
The Wrong Girl is it's something, a little bit of a spin-off. My original series featured a woman who had a whole lot of children, and the spin-off is one of the younger children. Her name is Blanche Tucker, and she was raised on a farm in Oklahoma in the 1910s. And this book starts in 1920 when she's 15 years old. And she's bored out of her mind on her farm in Oklahoma and decides that she wants to live a very exciting life. And when a man comes through town who offers to take her to Hollywood and put her in the movie, she's just all excited and decides to go with him. But of course, he turns out to be nothing of the sort. So she ends up having to make a daring escape, and by hook or by crook, finally does end up in Hollywood and becomes a big star. And the man who ran off with her, his bones are later found on the beach. And in 1926, we have to find out what the connection is.
Okay. So the beginning, middle, or end of the book, what did you enjoy writing the most?
The way that I write a book is it kind of like quilting, making a patchwork quilt. And I write it in blocks and stitch them together in the end. But I rather enjoyed writing the Hollywood parts, the movie parts of it, so that would more or less be the beginning and part of the middle because it goes back and forth in time. So I liked writing the Hollywood parts the best. I enjoyed that the most because it was new for me and different.
Right, absolutely. So where do you get most of your writing done? Do you write at home? Do you go outside of the home? Where do you write the most?
No, I write at home. I usually write in the afternoons. And the reason, rather than in the morning, is because, especially in the summer, it's hot here. And so if I'm going to get out and do any sort of errands or anything, I do it in the morning. Then in the heat of the afternoon, I stay at home and write.
Okay. What would you say is your favorite childhood book?
When I was a little kid, there was a series of books by a woman named Lucy Fitzperkins, the Twins series. And I don't know if that is still available or not, but it was a little series of books about twins in different countries. Every book was different, and there were the Chinese twins and the Mexican twins and the English twins, and there must have been 15 or 20 of them, and I loved those books.
So part of our podcast is all about our favorite indie bookstores, and we talk to a lot of indie booksellers. So tell us some of your favorite indie bookstores.
Oh, well, I like Poison Pen, of course. Poison Pen Bookstore in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's associated somewhat with my press, but not owned by my press. It's owned by the wife of the owner of my press. But it's a mystery bookstore that's been in Scottsdale for 25 years, and it's just absolutely fantastic. We have another one also here in Tempe, Arizona, called Changing Hands Bookstore. It's an independent, very big old bookstore that's also wonderful and brings in lots of fabulous people.
Wow. But getting back to your book, The Wrong Girl, how do you want readers to feel after reading this book?
Oh, I'd love for them to say, "Oh, what fun!" Because that's what I wanted it to be was fun. I wanted it to be sort of like a silent movie in that there's a lot of adventure, and I even used, you know, how silent movies had the title cards because to tell what people were saying and things. I used title cards instead of chapter headings. Yeah, so, you know, I wanted to make it like a silent movie and also to be a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end. You know, not everything is all wrapped up. But, lots of adventure and action. And also this particular book is a bit of a origins book, how she got to be a famous actress. And I'm hoping then it will make people want to see how she continues on. because I'm working on the second one right now.
Okay, so when can we expect the second one? Because I know we'll have to have you on the show to talk about that one at that time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would, yeah, my understanding is they want to try and put it out in November 2020.
Okay.
The end of 2020.
Alrighty, well, we'll definitely have you back on the show to talk about that one. But Donis, thank you so much for coming on the show. The Wrong Girl will be available in bookstores on November 11th.
Well, thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Tune in to our off-the-cuff discussion over on our Patreon page, where I will continue the conversation with author Donis Casey. She shares more details about the inspiration for her novel, The Wrong Girl, and why she decided to write a new series. We also talk about her process for writing, as well as research she did for this novel. Donis also shares how publishing her first set of books changed her process of writing and what she would do for work if she didn't write books. So head on over to patreon.com/bibliofinder and tune in to the rest of our conversation. Newly republished from Counterpoint Press is The Gentle Order of Girls and Boys by Dow Strom. New in paperback from Counterpoint Press is The New Order by Karen E. Bender. New in paperback from Grand Central Publishing, Runaway by Harlan Coben. New from Mulholland Books, Nothing More Dangerous by Alan Eskins. In a small southern town where loyalty to family and to your people carries the weight of a sacred oath, defying those unspoken rules can be a deadly proposition. New from Seal Press, Becoming Eve by Abby Stein. This is a powerful coming-of-age story of an ultra-Orthodox child who was born to become a leader and instead became a woman. New from Hachette Books, Citizen 865. The Hunt for Hitler's Hidden Soldiers in America by Debbie Senzipper. The gripping story of a team of Nazi hunters at the U.S. Department of Justice as they raced against time to expose members of a brutal SS killing force who disappeared in America after World War II. New from Virago Children's Classics is a Little Women series. This includes 4 newly republished titles. This includes Little Women, Little Men, Good Wives, and Joe's Boys, all by Louisa May Alcott. New from Scribner Books, Beyond the Known by Andrew Rader. This book chronicles the exploration that spotlights humans' insatiable desire to continually push into new and uncharted territory, from civilization's earliest days to current planning for interstellar travel. New in paperback from Scribner Books, Sing to It by Amy Hempel. Also new in paperback, Elevation by Stephen King. 1922 by Stephen King, and The Langoliers, also by Stephen King. New from Simon & Schuster, Every Day is Extra by John Kerry. Also from Simon & Schuster is The Zookeeper's War, an incredible true story from the Cold War by J.W. Monhaupt, translated by Shelley Frisch. The unbelievable true story of the Cold War's strongest proxy war fought between the zoos on either side of the Berlin Wall. New from Atria Books, Highway of Tears by Jessica McDermott. This is a stunning work of investigative journalism that follows a series of unsolved disappearances and murders of Indigenous women in rural British Columbia. New from Gallery Books, Bowie's Bookshelf by John O'Connell. 3 years before David Bowie died, he shared a list of 100 books that changed his life. His choices span fiction and non-fiction, literary and irreverent, and include timeless classics alongside eyebrow-raising obscurities. New from FSG Books, Long Live Latin by Nicola Gardini, translated by Todd Portnowitz. This book is a lively exploration of the joys of a not-so-dead language. Also new from FSG Books, The Mutations by Jorge Comensal, translated by Charlotte Whittle. Also new from FSG Books, Busted in New York and Other Essays by Daryl Pitney with a foreword by Zadie Smith. New from Sarah Crichton Books, Carrie Fisher by Sheila Weller. This is a candid biography of the remarkably candid and brilliant Carrie Fisher. Weller traces Fisher's life from her Hollywood royalty roots to her untimely and shattering death just days before Christmas 2016. New from Picador Books, Bringing Down the Colonel by Patricia Miller. Miller tells the story of Madeline Pollard, an unlikely 19th century women's rights crusader. Also new from Picador, In Extremis by Lindsay Hilsum. New from St. Martin's Press, With All Due Respect by Nikki R. Haley. Also new from St. Martin's Press, Don't Keep Your Day Job by Kathy Heller. Also new from St. Martin's Press, Manhunters by Steve Murphy and Javier F. Pina. Also from St. Martin's Press, Agent Jack by Robert Houghton. Alrighty everyone, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening, and special thanks to Donis Casey for coming on the show. A list of all the books mentioned in the show will be available over at bibliohappyhour.com. Don't forget to follow Biblio Happy Hour on social media and sign up for newsletters. To shop all the books I've mentioned in the show and to find a bookstore near you or when you're traveling, visit bibliofinder.com. To listen to our off-the-cuff discussions, get our monthly top-shelf new release recommendations, behind-the-scenes content, perks, and more, head on over to patreon.com/bibliofinder. And wherever you're listening, please don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Alrighty everyone, that's it, and I look forward to talking to you in next week's show.